Okay. July 4th. 2 Kings 23:31 through 25:30. Josiah was 23 years old when he became king and reigned 3 months in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Humathal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord according to all his fathers had done. Now Pharaoh Necho put him in prison at Ribah in the land of Hamath, and that he might not reign in Jerusalem. And he imposed on the land a tribute of 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. Then Pharaoh Necho made Echlam, the son of Josiah, king in place of his father Josiah, and changed his name to Jehoiakim. The Pharaoh took Jehoshaphat and went to Egypt, and he died there. So Joseph gave the silver and gold to Pharaoh, but he taxed the land and gave the money according to the command of Pharaoh. He exacted the silver from the gold and gold from the people of the land, and everyone according to his assessment. He gave it to Pharaoh Necho. Jeroboam was 25 years old when he became king and reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Zubadah, the daughter of Pedah of Rumah, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord according to all his fathers had done. In his days, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his vassal for 3 years. Then he turned and rebelled against him, and the Lord sent against him raiding bands of Chaldeans, bands of Syrians, bands of Moabites, and bands of the people of Ammon, and sent them against Judah to destroy it, according to the word of the Lord, which he had spoken by his servants the prophets. Surely the commandments of the Lord, this, excuse me. He sent them against Judah to destroy it, according to the word of the Lord, which he had spoken by his servants, the prophets. Excuse me. Surely the commandments of the Lord came upon Judah to remove them from his sight because of the sin of Manasseh, according to what he had done, and because of the innocent blood that he had shed, for he filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, which the Lord would not pardon. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim and all that he did, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the king of Judah? So Joachim rested with his fathers, and Joachim and Joachim, very close to his other name, his name, his son reigned in his place. And the king of Egypt did not come out of the land, out of his land anymore, for the king of Babylon had taken all that belonged to the king of Egypt, from the brook of Egypt to the river Euphrates. Joachim was 18 years old when he became king and reigned in Jerusalem 3 months. His mother's name was Nehustah, the daughter of Elkanah of Jerusalem. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord according to all his father had done. At that time, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem, and the city was besieged. And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city as his servants were besieging it. And Jehoiakim, king of Judah, his mother, his servants, his princes, his officers, went out to the king of Babylon, and the king of Babylon, in the 8th year of his reign, took him prisoner. And he carried out from there all the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house. And he cut to pieces all the articles of gold which the King Solomon, king of Israel, had made in the temple of the Lord, as the Lord had said. And he carried them into captivity into Jerusalem, all the captains, all the mighty men of valor, 10,000 captives, and the craftsmen and smiths. None remained except the poorest of the land. And the and he carried Joachim Nate captive to Babylon. The king's mother, the king's wives, his officers, and the mighty men of the land. He carried them kept into captivity from Jerusalem to Babylon. All the valiant men, 7,000, and craftsmen and smiths, 1,000, and all who were strong and fit for war. These the king of Babylon brought captive to Babylon. Then the king of Babylon made Metatime, Joachim's uncle, king in his place, and changed his name to Zedekiah. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he became king, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Hamul, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. He also did evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all Joachim had done. For because of the anger of the Lord, this happened in Jerusalem and Judah, and his finally and that he finally cast them out of his presence, that Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. Now it came to pass in the ninth year in his reign, in the 10th month, on the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and all his army came against Jerusalem and camped against it. They built a siege wall around it. So the city was besieged until the 11th year of King Zedekiah. By the ninth day of the 4th month, the famine had become so severe that the city had no food for the people of the land. Then the city wall was broken through, and all the men of war fled at night by the way of the gate between two walls, which was by the king's garden, even though the Chaldeans were still encamped all around the city. And the king went by the way of the plain, but the army of the Chaldeans pursued the king, and they overtook him in the plains of Jericho, and all his army was scattered from him. So they took the king and brought him up to the king of Babylon in Riblah, and they pronounced judgment upon him. They killed him. They killed the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, put out the eyes of Zedekiah, bound him with bronze fetters, and took him to Babylon. And in the 5th month of the 7th day of the month, which was the 19th year, King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of the captain of the guard, and a servant of the king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem. He burned the house of the Lord and the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem, that is, the houses of the great, he burned with fire, and all the army of the Chaldeans who were with him, with the captains of the guard, broke down the walls of Jerusalem around. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the captain of the guard, carried away captive the rest of the people who remained in the city, and the defectors who had deserted to the king of Babylon with the rest of the multitude. But the captain of the guard left some of the poor and of the land as vine dressers and farmers. The bronze pillars that were in the house of the Lord, and the carts of bronze, and the carts and the bronze sea that were in the house of the Lord, the Chaldeans broke into pieces and carried their bronze to Babylon. They also took away pots, shovels, trimmers, and spoons, and all the bronze utensils which the priests ministered, the fire pans and the basins, the things of solid gold and solid silver. The captain of the guards took away the two pillars, one sea, and the carts which Solomon had made for the house of the Lord. The bronze of all the articles was beyond measure. The height of one pillar was 18 cubits, and the capital on it was bronze. The height of the capital was 3 cubits, and the network of pomegranates all around the capital were all bronze. The second pillar was the same, with a network. The captain of the guard took Sarai, the chief priest, Zephaniah, the second priest, and the three doorkeepers. He also took out of the city an officer who had charge of the man of war. 5 men of the king's close associates were found in the city. The chief recruiting officer of the army, who mustered the people of the land, and 60 men of the people of the land who were found in the city. So Nebuzaradan, captain of the guard, took these and brought them to the king of Babylon at Riblah. Then the king of Babylon struck them and put them to death at Ribon in the land of Hamath. Thus Judah was carried away captive from his own land. Then he made Gedaliah, the son of Echam, the son of Sephram, the governor over the people who remained in the land of Judah, whom king of Babylon, had left. Now when all the captains of the armies, they now when all the captains of the armies, they and their men heard that the king of Babylon had made Gilath governor, they came to Gilatha of Mizpah, Ishmael, son of Nathan, Jonathan the son of Sakar, Selah son of Terasabmin, the neophyte, and Jezaziah the son of Machalite, they and their men. And Gilath took an oath before them and their men and said to them, do not be afraid of the servants of the Chaldeans. Dwell in the land and serve the king of Babylon, and it shall be well with you. But it happened in the 7th month that Ishmael, son of Nephilim, the son of Esmalah, the royal family, came with 10 men and struck and killed Gilath, the Jews, as well as the Chaldeans who were with him at Mizpah. And all the people, small and great, the captains of their armies, arose and went to Egypt, for they were afraid of the Chaldeans. Now it came to pass in the 37th year of the captivity of Jeroboam, king of Judah, in the 12th month, and the 27th day of the month, that evil Merodach, king of Babylon, in the year that began to reign, released Jeroboam, king of Judah, from prison. He spoke kindly to him and gave him a more prominent seat than those of the kings who were with him in Babylon. So Jeroboam changed from prison garments and ate bread regularly before the king in all the days of his life. And as for his provisions, there was regular ration given to him by the king, a portion for each day, for all the days of his life. Acts 22:17 through 23:10. Now it happened, when I, Paul, returned to Jerusalem, was praying in the temple, that I was in a trance, and saw him saying to me, Make haste and go out of Jerusalem quickly, for they will not receive your testimony concerning me. So I said, Lord, they know that I am in every synagogue, and I imprisoned and beat those who believe in you, on you. And when the blood of your martyr Stephen was shed, I also was standing by, consenting to his death, guarding the clothes of those who were killing him. Then he said to me, Depart, for I will send you far from here to the Gentiles. And they listened to him until this word. And then they raised their voices and said, Away with this fellow from the earth, for he is not fit to live. Then, as they cried out, they tore off their clothes and threw dust into the air. The commander ordered him to be brought into the barracks, and said that he should be examined under scourging, so that they might know why they are shouting so against him. And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said to the centurion who stood by, Is it lawful for you to scourge a man who is a Roman and uncondemned? When the centurion heard that, he went and told the commander, saying, Take care what you do, for this man is a Roman. Then the commander came and said to him, Tell me, are you a Roman? He said, Yes. The commander answered, With a large sum I obtained citizenship. And Paul said, I was born a citizen. Then immediately those who were about to examine him withdrew from him, and the commander was also afraid after he found out that he was a Roman, and because he had bound him. The next day, because he wanted to know for certain why he was accused to the Jews, he released him from his bonds, and commanded the chief priests and all the council to appear, and brought Paul down and set him before them. Then Paul, looking earnestly at the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before God until this day. And the high priest Annas has commanded those who stood by him to strike him on the mouth. Then Paul said to him, God will strike you, you whitewashed wall, for you sit and judge me according to the law, and do you command me to be struck contrary to the law? And those who stood by said, Do you revile God's high priest? Then Paul said, I did not know, brethren, that he was the high priest, for it is written, You shall not speak evil of the ruler of your people. But when Paul perceived that one part was Sadducees and the other Pharisees, he cried out to the council, Men and brethren, I am a Pharisee, the son of a Pharisee, of course, concerning the hope and resurrection of the dead, and I am being judged. And when he had said this, a decision arose between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the assembly was divided. For the Sadducees say there is no resurrection and no angel or spirit, but Pharisees confess both. Then there arose a loud outcry, and the scribes and the Pharisees party arose and protested, saying, We find no evil in this man, but if a spirit or an angel has spoken to him, let us not fight against God. Now when there arose a great dissension, the commander, fearing lest Paul might be pulled to pieces by them, commanded the soldiers to go down and take him by force from among them and bring him into the barracks. Psalms 2, 1 through 12. Why do the nations rage and the people plot in vain? The kings of the earth set themselves. Then the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, Let us break their bonds to pieces and cast away their cords from us. He who sits in heaven shall laugh. The Lord shall hold them in derision, and he shall speak to them in his wrath, and distress them in his deep displeasure. Yet I have set my king on my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. The Lord said to me, You are my son. Today I have begotten you. Ask me, and I will give you the nations for your inheritance, and the ends of the earth for your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron. You shall dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel. Now, therefore, be wise, O kings. Be instructed, you judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear, and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and you perish in the way, which his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all those who put their trust in him. Is that not a prophecy of Christ's second coming or what? Awesome. Proverbs 18:13. He who answers a matter before he hears it is it is folly and a shame to him. All right. See y'all tomorrow.